Hello and welcome back to the Leadership Diaries. My name is Ryann. I am the CEO of Uncensored Consulting, the founder of Be in the Room, and the creator of the Self-Leadership Principles. And today we're going to talk about self-leadership principle number 2, which is radical personal responsibility. So what is that? What does it mean? How do we embrace that without being complete and total control freaks? Because I will tell you that before I became an entrepreneur, I would have told you that I was a control freak. I really liked control. I really liked, managing all the things, having my hands in everything. And what I learned was I'm actually not a control freak. I just was doing the best I could with what I had, right? What was going on in my life and in my business. And a small child, I was leading a sales team. There was a lot going on. So my inclination was to hold on to control as tightly as possible because it felt good, right? But what I have learned as an entrepreneur is there is a difference between control and personal responsibility. And then how do we do those two things very effectively? And again, this pulls into all 6 of our self-leadership principles, which really allow us to lead ourselves so that we can be great leaders for our clients, for our teams, for our companies, right? So first and foremost, what is personal responsibility? What does that look like? And then how do we do it, right? So for me, personal responsibility is taking complete and total ownership for your life, right? It's taking full accountability for yourself, for your thoughts, and for your action, right? So it's taking ownership of your life, but then accountability for yourself, your thoughts, and your actions. Notice it has nothing to do with controlling other people. Notice it has nothing to do with all of the other things, right? It's you. Personal responsibility is accountability for yourselves, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Those are the things that we can control. So this isn't control all the people, control the team, control the output, control the family, control the spouse. This is control ourselves, right? Personal responsibility is accountability to ourselves and to our actions. So why is this so important? Right? It's because it is fueled by co-creation, right? So personal responsibility is this opportunity to co-create our lives because we are in charge, of the results. When I say co-create, it's co-create with your creator, whoever that is for you, right? If you're spiritual, maybe it's God. Some people say universe, source. That's not really the point here. The point here is personal responsibility is owning that I'm in this co-creation with God every day. I get to co-create my life. I get to create my life, the way that I want it to look. And for some people, they find that very exciting, right? For some people, they're like, this is amazing. And I jokingly, when I was giving the keynote at the Ultimate Upgrade early in September, I talked about type A's love this. They're like, yes, give me the responsibility, right? We're the ones who took took over the group project in college. They were the one who did other people's work because they knew that they would do it better than them, right? So this is not about that. Personal responsibility is not nobody else is going to do this, right? So I'm going to do it myself. I want to be very clear, right? Personal responsibility is about this relationship with you, right? It's about being in that alignment, taking control of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, not about I'm going to do everybody else's job because they're not going to do it as well as I'm going to do it. So I want to be very, very careful of that because again, as high achievers, as performers, we're really good at okay, well, just give it to me. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. And what we do is we wind up, becoming a martyr. We wind up in burnout. We wind up in frustration, and we wind up with subpar results, which is not at all what we want or need. Right. So that's what makes this really, really important. So when you take personal responsibility, though, you can't place blame on anyone or anything else. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not a victim of your circumstances. And this is probably one that I struggle with the most because the world very much makes us feel that way, right? It makes us feel like we are a victim of our circumstances. And especially right now, at the time of this recording, it's October of 2022. There's talk of a recession and all this other stuff. And we think we're victims of this. I'm a victim of this recession. My business is going to slow down. People aren't going to be as willing to invest. Mortgage rates are up, all of these different things. And we think that we are a victim of those circumstances. Well, those are circumstances and those are things that are happening in the world. You are not a victim of those circumstances because you are personally responsible for your results. You're personally responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. So you can think, okay, doom and gloom, this is bad. Everything is going to tumble around or, tumble down around me. Or you can choose to think, hey, I know that this is not optimal. However, I know that a lot of businesses are made during recessions. I know that, people that will bail out during a recession. I know that the money doesn't go away, it just shifts, right? And I'm not using the recession as a marketing tool. I actually think that's really predatory, kind of jerky. I'm just using that as an example of a circumstance for a lot of people that feels very real, because all of the news headlines are saying that it's happening. And you're like, but Ryann, it's happening, but you're not a victim of it, right? You get to control where you go with this, right? You get to control how you act, your thoughts, your feelings, and how you show up every day. That is true personal responsibility, right? We can't control the news headlines. We can't control what social media is saying, but what we can do is decide how we want to think, feel, and act about it, right? So when we embrace personal responsibility, we embrace the belief that you get to shape the life you desire, right? That you have all of the power, that you are in control. If your business isn't growing the way that you would like it to, it's on you. If your team isn't performing the way that you would like them to, it's on you. If you're not hitting the goals that you want to hit, it's on you. And sometimes that feels like crap. I'm not going to lie to you about it. But personal responsibility is really owning, if I'm not getting what I want in life, if I'm not getting what I want in my relationships, in my health, in my fitness, in my family, in my team, whatever that looks like for you, that is 100% on me. And again, this should be exciting, because if it's on you, you get to call the shots. You can make the changes, right? So how is this different than control? So for me, I believe that control is about external force, right? External force, again, moving the people, demanding people go here, there, and everywhere. Personal responsibility is about you. It's those internal wants, needs, goals, and desires. So as you grow in your business and in your career, you have to take personal responsibility for the things happening around you. So not holding on like a death grip to the way that you think it should be, but really letting go and saying, I'm going to take responsibility here. So it's the greatest gift. Taking personal responsibility is really the greatest gift you can give the people who look to you, right? Because when you take radical personal responsibility, then the people around you start to do the same, right? And when we are all responsible for ourselves, when we're all showing up for ourselves, everybody rises, everything gets better. So this isn't just I'm the leader of this company and I'm going to take this on my shoulders and I'm going to carry it around because I'm stronger than you. Personal responsibility is something that we do across the board, right? Personal responsibility is something that when we do it, we can empower the people around us to do it. So again, maybe you're empowering your clients, maybe you're empowering your team, maybe you're empowering your family in some way. And that's a really, really important thing to do, because when we empower everybody, again, everything rises, right? You've heard the all boats rise with the tide. Well, when you're showing up and you're taking responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, and actions, and your team is showing up and taking responsibility for their thoughts, feelings, and actions, and your clients are showing up and they're taking responsibility for their thoughts, feelings, and actions, imagine how much better that is, right? Imagine how much better, how much more we can get accomplished, how much quicker we can grow, and how much higher we will climb, if that's your goal, when everybody is doing those things, when we're not sitting around thinking about being a victim of the circumstance. Oh goodness, the news is saying that there's a recession coming and this is terrible, and we all sit around and complain about it and talk about it. No, that's not what we're doing here. We're saying, okay, the news is saying this, true, whatever, right? But the news is saying this, and this is how I'm going to show up in this moment. How are you going to show up in this moment? How are you going to show up in this moment? How are you going to show up in this moment? Right? So we really use this personal responsibility to teach the people around us to take personal responsibility. And again, everybody rises, everything gets better when we truly own that, right? Because when you set the tone, when you're taking personal responsibility in your organization, you set the tone for how adversity is handled. When something goes wrong, what do? Right? You set the tone for the attitude of your company or your community, right? It allows for creativity, new ideas, openness in relationships, people to, be more open and having different conversation. It gives room for people to make mistakes, try new things, find their own way, right? So when we're taking personal responsibility, we give so much power to other people. And then again, it allows us to look inward to ourselves. We're led by our intuition, we're led by our experience, and we're led by the highest and best good for ourselves and for the people around us. So personal responsibility, it sounds simple, but it's actually not, because again, society has programmed us to believe that all of it's out of our control, right? They have programmed us to believe that we are victims, right? That we can only, that the things coming at us every single day are it for us. And that's not actually true, right? The things happening around us, we can't control them. We can't stop them, but we get to decide how we feel about them. We get to take back our power in the moment and say, I'm not going to react, I'm going to respond. I'm not going to buy what everybody else in the world is saying. I'm going to own my power in this moment and create what I want to create. Because again, personal responsibility is about co-creation, right? It's about your relationship with God. It's about understanding, me and God, we're doing this together, and I'm in control of how that looks in this moment. So would love to hear from you. How does personal responsibility show up for you? How does this make you feel? What would happen inside of your company, inside of your organization, inside of your team if we took this attitude of personal responsibility all the way through the organization? Would love to hear from you, and we'll see you in the next Leadership Diaries. Take care.